Fine. So, today we will take up some topic which we could not actually discuss, like Carnatic War and administration, the British administration, how they developed the early structure of administration. Fine. Is it okay now? See, before I take up Carnatic War or early administrative structure, I just want to connect whatever you have done, whatever you are going to do, right, in modern India. Just I want to connect, just try to concentrate, try to understand it. You all can hear me? Yes. Yes, good evening, Sangeet and Asim, Mohammad Danis, Mohit. Fine. So we have to understand right. So we have to understand right certain linkages, and it will help you in getting right the story of modern India. Is it fine? See, so first try to understand it, then I will come to topic. Fine. Okay, great. So Akshay, you can hear, and yes, no issues. Fine. Okay. See, now try to understand what I am trying to link this topic. Yes. Fine. So see, as I already told you, that we are starting modern India from 18th century. See, I am trying to connect first, giving you a linkage. Fine. And then I will come to the topic which I have to discuss today. First priority would be to, right, give you a link, right, so that you can understand this modern India properly. Fine. Okay. Fine. Yes, yes, I got it. Right, I hope that you all are comfortable now, my support team, like. Fine. So 18th century, we are generally starting modern India. And you know this, that the first trend which started in 18th century is decline of Mughal Empire. I elaborated it. Decline of Mughal Empire. Just try to listen to it, try to understand it. You don't have to write anything. You just try to listen to it. I am trying to link something. Then I will take up the first topic for today. Fine. So first trend in modern India in 18th century is decline of Mughal Empire or disintegration of Mughal Empire. This decline continued. It was a process. This started in 1707. This process started in 1707, and this process continued till 1857, till 1857 revolt. Is it okay? So decline of Mughal Empire continued. It was a process. Decline of Mughal Empire was not an event. It was a process. Gradual decline. Many factors, right, contributed. And with this decline, there was rise of some state, right. So rise of some independent state, right? And gradually these states became powerful. And there was one more trend. One more trend was, now with the decline of Mughal Empire, European companies, you all know that European companies, they started coming after geographical discoveries, and you have 1498 Portuguese, then you have English East India Company in 1600, then you have Dutch Company in 1602, then you have French Company in 1664, then you have, you can say, Danish Company, right? Then you have Swedish Company. So these companies mainly, right, these two companies are very important, East India Company and French Company. So East India Company and French Company. I hope you are getting it. When you start your modern India, you have three trends, parallel trends moving. One is decline of Mughal Empire. Second is rise of states, independent states, autonomous states, right? And third is European companies, they came, right, you know, in 17th century only, 16th century only. But after the decline of Mughal Empire, they became very serious. They wanted to take some concession, and they realized that this is a good opportunity, very good opportunity, and therefore they started competing, mainly these two companies, East India Company and French Company. So when you start your modern India, Mughal declining, independent states, they are emerging, and number three, English Company and French Company, they became serious. They wanted to work on their dream. They wanted to work on their ambition. They wanted to expand their influence in India, and decline of Mughal Empire helped them. Is it fine? Now, English East India Company and French Company, they wanted to expand, but they were waiting. Why they were waiting? They had some doubt about the strength of the Mughal Empire. They had some confusion. Suppose when you start preparing for IS examination, you have some doubt whether I can do it, whether we can, right, go for it. But when you came to know that, okay, your friend also qualified, your senior also qualified, you started getting confidence. Even I can do it. Same. You will see that when Mughals started declining, there was an opportunity, but these European companies had some doubt. But try to understand it. When Nadir Shah invaded in 1739 and plundered Delhi, so Nadir Shah invaded 1738-39, Nadir Shah invaded and plundered Delhi, defeated Mughals. I hope now you are getting. Now these companies, they started getting confidence. They came to know about the strength of the Mughal Empire. They realized that if Nadir Shah can do it, we can also do it. These Mughal, right, empire, right, these Mughal rulers, they are not capable. They had some idea. That time Muhammad Shah Rangila was the Mughal ruler. They had some idea about the decline, but Nadir Shah's invasion exposed the weakness of the Mughal Empire. I hope you are getting it. So this date would be very important for us, 1739. Why? Tell me why. Because after this Nadir Shah's invasion, Europeans came to know about the weakness of Mughal Empire. Now they started thinking, they started dreaming. Now, English East India Company also became active, and French company under Dupleix also became active. And there was a clash, right, between the ambition of the English East India Company and the French company. And this clash led to a conflict between English East India Company and the French company. And this conflict is called Carnatic War. Carnatic Wars. This conflict is called Carnatic Wars. I hope you are getting it. Even if you don't remember the date of Carnatic War would be after 1740 only. This is for sure or not? After Nadir Shah's invasion only, Carnatic War is possible. I hope you understand the role of Nadir Shah's invasion in this Carnatic War. Now in India, they both became ambitious and they both wanted to control. So this is the immediate background of the conflict between French company and English East India Company. Are you getting this? Right? I hope you are getting it. Now, so I said modern India, the process of disintegration, all those development started after 1707. And after 1739, after Nadir Shah's invasion, situation changed. And one development you will see is English company and French company. They started fighting. We will call it Carnatic Wars. Right? Carnatic Wars. We will call it Carnatic War. Carnatic War, you will see that there are three Carnatic War. First Carnatic War, second Carnatic War, and third Carnatic War. First, second, and third Carnatic War. First Carnatic War, 1746 to 48. Second Carnatic War, 1749 to 50. You can say 53 or 54. And the third Carnatic War, 56 to 17, right, 63. So there were three Carnatic War. We are not writing anything right now. I am just trying to connect everything. Then we will take up Carnatic War. I am just giving you a detail so that you would be familiar with all those stories, you can connect it. Fine. So, immediate background of Carnatic War, I hope, ambition of East India Company, ambition of the French company, and after Nadir Shah's invasion, both the company became active. East India Company was active, French company was not active, but under Dupleix, French company also became active. So there were three Carnatic War, 46 to 48, 49 to 53, and 56 to 1763. And finally, after the second Carnatic War only, you will see that English East India Company became powerful. They defeated French. English East India Company became powerful. And this helped them in winning Bengal battle. So you will see that Battle of Plassey in 1757, and then you will see Battle of Buxar in 1764, right? Battle of Buxar in 1764. Fine. And after Battle of Buxar, you know this Treaty of Allahabad, 1765. Is it okay? Arun, don't worry, right, in booklet if it is given 1758, don't worry, it should be 1756. Forget about the dates and all, just try to understand it. Whatever you have learned till now, I am trying to link everything first, then I will come to Carnatic War. Are you getting this? See how the activities of East India Company, they started fighting Carnatic War, 46, 48, 49, 53, 54, or then after that 56 to 1763. I told you after second Carnatic War, they became strong. There was no need of third Carnatic War. No need of third Carnatic War. Second Carnatic War, right, indicated that the French company is not, you can say, right, is not in competition. And who will be dominating India or Indian affair? East India Company. And this victory of East India Company helped them in Bengal, right, and Bengal also helped them here in Carnatic. So you will see that Palasi they won, and then Buxar, and after that Treaty of, you can say, Allahabad. Is this okay? So by 1765, they had control over French, because they had defeated French. They had control over Bengal. And after that, this period, 1765 to 1773 around, there was what you call dual rule. Dual rule. Right? And now they started administering India, right? They started controlling India after 1773. And therefore, they had to develop civil system, civil administration. They had to develop judicial administration. They had to develop their economic policies. So they started developing all this after 1773. So what you can say, consolidation started. Consolidation started after 1773. And in Pitt's India Act in 1784, they finally made an announcement that they would not be expanding, they will follow the policy of peace. When they talked about policy of peace? In Pitt's India Act 1784. So they were not guided by the policy of conquest, they were guided by policy of peace. Their focus was consolidation. And by 1813, they became very powerful. They consolidated their rule. And after 1813, they started talking about paramountcy. The concept of paramountcy developed. They became arrogant. They again started expansion. And this expansion continued till 1857 revolt. And this expansion actually contributed in this reaction called 1857 revolt. I hope you are getting it. Try to understand it. I am dividing this period from 1773 to 1787 into two parts. Are you appreciating it? Part 1 till 1813. Part 2 after 1813 till 1857. In part 1, they were guided by policy of peace. They were guided by policy of consolidation. Why they are talking about consolidation? Because they are not strong. Once they became strong after 1813, their approach changed. Their approach changed after 1813. And after 1813, they started talking about conquest, paramountcy. And they continued their policy of conquest after 1813 till 1857. Are you getting something? Now, again I am trying to place all this thing. I said 1707 onward they became politically active. Fine. After that I said they defeated French. They controlled Bengal. They started a dual rule after conquering, you can say after occupying, you can say Bengal, and dual rule continued till 1773. Now you try to understand it. After 1773, what was their policy? They were guided by a policy of consolidation. They were guided by the policy of consolidation. East India Company was guided by policy of consolidation. They made this policy legal in 1784 in the Pitt's India Act. We call it policy of peace. I hope you are getting it. So they were guided by policy of consolidation. They continued this policy till 1813. Remember this date. They continued their policy, right, till 1813. And after 1813, they started policy of conquest, policy of aggression, policy of expansion. And this policy continued till Dalhousie till 1856. And this policy of conquest led to revolt of 1857. Right? But what we are trying to tell you, that this consolidation began here, consolidation continued here also, but now their approach changed. Now they were saying that they are paramount power. Is it fine? Are you getting? You all are getting this? Or like more, they can say elaboration. You can divide your modern India. You can divide your modern India into two parts. Before 1857 and after 1857. Is this fine? And before 1857, one period is from 1813 to 1857. We will call this period as period of conquest, period of expansion, period of annexation, period of paramountcy. So after 1813 to 1857, after 1813 to 1857, they became very arrogant. They considered us as subordinate. But before 1813, you know, after 1784 Pitt's India Act, till 1813, their policy was defensive. Their policy was defensive, 1784 to 1813. Why their policy was defensive? Here, they wanted to consolidate their position. I hope you are getting it. So, if they will defeat, if they will, you can say, fight a war with any power, they will not annex. They will sign a treaty, but they will not annex. For example, I hope you all remember, in 1799, they defeated Tipu Sultan. You all remember it or not? In 1799, they defeated Tipu Sultan, but they did not annex Mysore. They did not annex Mysore. Why they did not annex Mysore? What would be your answer? They were guided by the policy of peace. Where this policy of peace is mentioned? In the Pitt's India Act, 1784. They were fighting war with Marathas. They were fighting war with Mysore. They were fighting war with many power, but they were not annexing. They were fighting war because it was needed. Why it was needed? For consolidation. This is clear or not? Till 1813, they would be guided by policy of peace. Their main aim would be policy of consolidation. Their main would be reform. Their main aim would be reform. They were very smart. They realized that this period is not required, this period is not needed for expansion, outright expansion. They had some hidden agenda. We are not negating that. They had some hidden agenda, but they never talked about those hidden agenda. Technically, we are saying that they were guided by policy of ring fence. After 1765, they were guided by what we call policy of ring fence, policy of defense, policy of consolidation, policy of security. They will fight war with Marathas, with Mysore, but they will not go for expansion. They will not go for annexation. I hope you are getting it. So, try to understand it. When decline of Mughal Empire started, they first tackled French by defeating them in Carnatic War. Then they started focusing on Bengal. They started exploiting Bengal. They made Bengal their headquarter after 1773. And when they made Bengal their headquarter, they started thinking about, consolidation, consolidating their position. After 1813, why they wanted expansion? Because their real object was expansion. They wanted to dominate. They wanted to extract maximum from India. And after 1813, Lord Hastings or Dalhousie, they were known for their imperialism. You will see now their imperial approach. Only exception in this period is a brief period of Lord William Bentinck, 1828 onward. This brief period is a period of William Bentinck. This is the exceptional period where there was no major expansion and consolidation. Your question would be, why William Bentinck was sent? William Bentinck was sent to handle those reactionaries. Because when the expansion started, reaction also started. So, to handle those reaction, William Bentinck was sent. So, this William Bentinck's period was an exceptional period. Otherwise, this period was a period of expansion or annexation or period of British paramountcy. And when they became strong, they wanted to end the monopoly of East India Company. You all know this. After 1813, there was a gradual move to, to weaken the East India Company, to take control of their power. So, gradual end of the monopoly of East India Company. So, after this you will see 1813 onward, weakening of East India Company, and finally in 1833 Act, monopoly of East India Company ended. They were now guided by a new policy called free traders. Are you getting my point? Again, presenting this again. So, some important dates in modern India would be very important, very relevant. 1707, death of Aurangzeb. 1739, Nadir Shah's invasion. 1757, Battle of Palasi. 1764, Battle of Buxar. 1765, Treaty of Allahabad. After that, dual rule in Bengal. Dual rule continued till 1772-73. Regulating Act, then Pitt's India Act 1784, and after this consolidation started. Consolidation started. And now they started, when they started consolidating their position, you will see East India Company started facing, right, you can say problem. Their monopoly attacked 1813, then 1833, final end of the monopoly, but company continued, and finally 1857 revolt. Is it okay? I hope you are getting it. So, when we are discussing the consolidation of British rule, or reforms started by British rule, this started after 1773, when Warren Hastings became the Governor General. Warren Hastings became the Governor General, consolidation of the British rule started. Or, like suppose, can I say this, that Lord Clive was the founder of the British rule. His role in Bengal, his role in Carnatic. So Lord Clive was the founder of British rule. And then after Clive, consolidation began. Consolidation began. Who was the consolidator number one? Consolidator number one was Warren Hastings. Consolidator number two was Cornwallis. Consolidator number three was Wellesley. Consolidator number four was Bentinck. Can we say this? Right. Warren Hastings, consolidator number one. Consolidator number two, Cornwallis. Consolidator number three, Wellesley. Consolidator number four, Bentinck. Can we say this? Clive was the founder, but the consolidator number one was Warren Hastings. He started the process of consolidation. Cornwallis continued. Wellesley continued. Bentinck continued. And they became so strong that when Dalhousie came, he wanted to, complete this process of consolidation and expansion. Always remember, when Dalhousie came, he wanted to complete the process of number one, consolidation, number two, expansion. So Lord Dalhousie you have to see as consolidator also and as an expansionist also. In some sense, Dalhousie was also father of modern India, builder of modern India. Are you familiar with it? Dalhousie was also considered as the father or the builder of modern India because he completed the consolidation of British rule. How? By developing public work department, railways, postal network, telegraph, universities. Fine. So I hope you all understand it. Clive was the founder of British Empire. Warren Hastings was the consolidator number 1. Cornwallis was the consolidator number 2. Wellesley was the consolidator number 3. Bentinck was the consolidator number 4. And even Dalhousie you can consider as the consolidator number 5. But Dalhousie's approach was more imperialist, therefore his reform could not convince Indians, and there was a reaction against Dalhousie, and this reaction is called 1857 revolt. I hope it is easy to understand now. Are you getting the structure? I divided modern India into 2 parts, till 1857 and after 1857. Before 1857, in one line, entire story. Decline of Mughals, right, gave opportunity to the Europeans. British East India Company defeated French, defeated other states, and gradually they made Bengal as their headquarter. So Bengal became the headquarter of East India Company. After that, consolidation began. Who consolidated after 1773? Warren Hastings. Who consolidated after Warren Hastings? Cornwallis. After Cornwallis, you will see, right, Wellesley. After Wellesley, Bentinck. But after Wellesley, after 1813, there was a man called Lord Hastings. He is not Warren Hastings. There is a difference between Warren Hastings and Lord Hastings. Warren Hastings was a consolidator. Lord Hastings was an expansionist. Lord Hastings was an expansionist. So who was the first who started talking about paramountcy? Who was the first who started talking about expansion? Lord Hastings. And who continued the policy of Lord Hastings? Lord Dalhousie. Is it okay? Now see, there should be no confusion between East India Company and the British rule, rule of the company and rule of the British. East India Company was a company given charter. Who gave the charter? British government. They gave them the charter. Why? Because they were interested in trade. East India Company's monopoly continued. Gradually these traders, they became, you can say, they had political ambition after 1757. So British government not interested in company. Kaha takam, I am explaining you, just try to understand it. East India Company continued till 1757. British government not interfering. East India Company and their directors continued. British government was not interfering. But after 1757, the character of the East India Company changed. Now you will see political role. And because of their political role, after you can say 65, there was some problem in India, and because of this problem, British government started interfering. Gradually they started interfering in the affairs of the company after 1773, and finally in 1833, company or company's role became meaningless. Company's monopoly ended. but company continued till 1857. And after 1857, company's role ended and the direct British rule started. This rule started. Is it fine? East India Company powerful till 1757. After 1757, change, they became political player. After 1765, they started committing mistake. What was the mistake? They are more interested in their profit, corruption, British interference, and gradually East India Company started losing its control and the British interference started. After 1833, there was no monopoly. After 1813 only, the problem started. Why problem started after 1813? Because change of policy. Till now, British, they were guided by mercantilism, but now they were guided by free trade. So, how you can allow any country for monopoly? So, East India Company became weak, kaha, after 1813. After 1833, their monopoly ended, but they continued. And after 1857, there was no role of East India Company, there was direct rule of British government, directly from the crown. I hope it is okay now. And like you all now feel that you can consolidate. So, today I am going to discuss Carnatic War, and then I am going to discuss development after 1773 till 1856, the consolidation process, which we can call reforms by East India Company, reforms. So, today we are going to discuss Carnatic War, number 1, and the second, what and how they consolidated, how they continued their reform. ठीक है? I hope till now you are getting it. Now we are starting topic 1, Carnatic War, right? Today we are going to start now Carnatic War. So, topic 1 today would be Carnatic War. ठीक? Fine. So, we will discuss Carnatic War, then we will discuss how consolidation of the British rule. Are you ready for this Carnatic War? A very interesting story. You will listen to this story and then we will write it. Write some points so that you can also develop this story. Is it fine, Subham? पहले सुनना है फिर लिखना है. Right, Subham? Right, he is confused. सुनना है या लिखना है? Right. Right. Expansion always, right, expansion was there, Namrata. But the focus after 1773 was consolidation. But expansion was the priority after 1813. And this expansion policy continued till 1857. Subham, it is all right now. पहले सुनना है, फिर लिखना है. There should be no confusion. Right now, right, you have to listen to me first. Carnatic War. I told you there were 3 Carnatic War. First, second and third. Fine. Okay. So there were 3 Carnatic war. Just try to understand it. Chidanand, Subham, Chong. Simple story, very important story. Try to connect it. Then we will write some point regarding these 3 Carnatic war.